LRG 3 to 757 refuses to make sense. It's a supermassive black hole sitting at the heart of a quiet galaxy. Yet its mass is so extreme, its growth so impossible, that every model of black hole evolution breaks the moment you include it. It formed too quickly, feeds too slowly, and somehow it reached a size that the early universe simply shouldn't have allowed. LRG 3 to 757 isn't just unusual. It's a direct challenge to how black holes are supposed to exist at all. Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleepy Astronomer. Tonight, we continue our journey through the giants of the cosmos. Black holes so immense and so mysterious that they stretch the limits of what the universe should be able to create. If these slow explorations bring you comfort, subscribing to the Sleepy Astronomer helps this small constellation of dreamers grow, all drifting beneath the same silent sky. Tonight, we drift toward LRG 3 to 757, a black hole whose very existence forces astronomers to rethink how galaxies grow, how matter collapses, and how the early universe behaved. So take a deep breath, and let's explore a cosmic anomaly that seems to break every rule ever written. This is the Sleepy Astronomer. You begin by closing your eyes, but not in sleep. Instead, you let your mind wander into a quiet corner of the universe, far from the familiar dance of planets and stars that fill your nights. Here, the darkness is not frightening. It is soft, like velvet draped over a vast expanse, absorbing the edges of thought and shaping the space around you. You feel your body ease, your breath slowing as if gravity itself has released its ordinary hold. In this stillness, the cosmos seems to whisper, and you listen with more than your ears. You listen with your mind, with the subtle rhythm of your heartbeat, syncing slowly with something older than time itself. Somewhere in this infinite quiet, a giant stirs. LRG 3 to 757, a supermassive black hole, exists without announcing itself. It does not shout or reach out in force. Instead, it moves in silence, its presence known only by the way it curves space around it, bending light as it flows past. You imagine this bending, like a sheet stretched taut over a massive stone, rippling slightly as the stone shifts. Light does not travel straight here, it sways, it curves, it hesitates. You picture photons skimming the surface of this invisible stone, caught between gravity's patient grasp and the unyielding void, each one whispering its passage through a story billions of years in the making. The weight of this giant is beyond comprehension, yet you do not need to understand every number to feel its enormity. You imagine trying to hold billions of suns in the hollow of your hands, the sensation almost too immense for your imagination, yet it is not painful. Instead, it carries a kind of quiet awe, a stillness that fills your mind with both wonder and peace. You float alongside these ideas, letting them drift past you like slow clouds of gas in a distant galaxy, expansive and gentle, yet impossibly vast. Your curiosity stretches, soft and unhurried, reaching for the edges of comprehension, and in that stretch you find a tender comfort, the comfort of realizing that some things are too large to control, yet perfectly safe to admire from a distance. Around you, stars twinkle faintly, distant and steady, their light carrying messages from across millions of light years. Each ray that reaches you has traveled through expanding space, a patient traveler that knows no hurry. You let your thoughts follow these travelers, imagining their journey as a slow dance through darkness, brushing past invisible currents, swaying gently under the pull of distant masses. The light is not constant. Some of it never reaches you, dissipating into the infinite. And yet, the pieces that do arrive hold everything you need to witness. The memory of explosions, of fusion, of ancient beginnings, now distilled into a calm, soft glow that brushes against your mind like a feather. You sense the black hole's gravity not as a threat, but as a subtle invitation, a gentle tug that encourages your imagination to orbit along its paths. You picture it sitting at the center of a hidden galaxy, a secret heart around which billions of stars circle, sometimes slowly, sometimes in bursts of velocity. Time here feels different, stretched, elongated, as if the cosmos itself pauses to allow contemplation. You lean into that feeling, letting your awareness expand and contract, matching the rhythm of the universe in miniature. Every beat of your pulse echoes the silent drum of gravity, steady and unfaltering, reminding you that you are part of this quiet vastness, even while resting in the comfort of your own room, in your own body. As your awareness deepens, you notice the space around LRG 3 to 757 is not empty. Tiny clouds of gas drift, faintly glowing under the touch of distant stars, like whispers of light tracing the contours of something immense and unseen. Dust lingers in graceful arcs, caught in invisible currents, flowing slowly as if in meditation. You imagine reaching out and letting your fingers trace these currents, feeling nothing but the soft pull of invisible threads, the gentle tug of mass that is too vast to touch directly, yet close enough for your mind to wander through. It is a slow, quiet ballet, and your consciousness moves as though floating in a calm sea, rocking gently with the flow of unseen waves. Your thoughts wander to the concept of time itself here, stretching into something you can almost see. LRG 3 to 757 has existed for eons, growing quietly, swallowing stars and gas, shaping its surroundings with a patience that seems impossible. You consider how long it has observed the universe, silently, while civilizations on distant planets blink briefly in comparison. And yet, there is no loneliness here. The black hole's stillness is a form of companionship, a cosmic patience that allows the universe to breathe and expand without hurry. You feel invited to join this quiet patience, to rest in a space where nothing is forced, where the slow unfolding of events itself becomes the lullaby you never knew you were waiting for. You imagine floating closer, not with fear, but with gentle curiosity. You follow the invisible curves of space, imagining light bending around the massive body, twisting gently, as if acknowledging your presence. Every motion is deliberate, slow, meditative. Your mind embraces the enormity, the mystery, the silence. You feel yourself breathing with the universe, inhaling the weight of billions of suns, exhaling into the calm dark. In this moment, comprehension and awe merge. You do not need to measure, to quantify, to name every effect. You only need to feel the rhythm, the quiet gravity, the patient pull of something far larger than yourself, quietly holding the universe together. The whispers of LRG 3 to 757 linger in your mind as you drift slightly, still orbiting the thought of its hidden vastness. There is something comforting in this silent presence, in the knowledge that some giants do not roar, do not demand attention, but simply exist, immense, patient, and unyielding. You find solace in its quiet, in the knowledge that some things are so vast that they invite reflection rather than fear. Your body relaxes even further, your heartbeat slowing to match the gentle rhythm of cosmic motion. And in this slow, meditative space, you realize that understanding the black hole is less about answers and more about the quiet experience of wonder itself. And as you linger in this orbit of thought, you feel the subtle pulse of the universe extending outward, carrying a question you cannot yet answer. How can something so invisible, so silent, shape the fabric of time and space itself? And what can its quiet influence reveal if you follow the waves it sends across the cosmos? You begin by imagining the tools humans use to understand something that refuses to be seen. Telescopes, enormous and patient, point their mechanical eyes toward LRG 3 to 757. They do not touch it. They do not disturb the black hole's quiet existence. Instead, they capture the faintest traces of light and energy that escape its grasp. You picture photons streaming through the void, tiny messengers from unimaginable distances, each one carrying a fragment of a story billions of years old. As your mind follows them, you feel the delicate rhythm of observation, the careful patience it takes to notice what almost does not exist. The light that reaches us is warped, stretched, and redshifted, telling a story of gravity's slow pull over incomprehensible distances. You imagine the astronomers decoding these signals, translating flickers of energy into measurements of mass and distance. You picture yourself beside them, your hands hovering over glowing screens, feeling the gentle weight of numbers that try to quantify something beyond imagination. And yet, the numbers do not overwhelm. They are soft guides, like stepping stones across a wide river. Each one offers a hint, a whisper, a suggestion, allowing your mind to trace the hidden edges of a giant that cannot be held in the ordinary way. You imagine the mass of LRG 3 to 757. How could you hold billions of suns in your mind? Each sun, a familiar object in your imagination, suddenly multiplied, stacked, and layered until the scale becomes almost absurd. Yet instead of panic, you feel calm. The mind has a remarkable ability to stretch, to fold and bend space and time in your imagination, so you can sense the weight without strain. You picture the black hole as a patient listener, its gravity serene, allowing you to explore its immensity without danger, letting your curiosity drift gently through the scale of its being. Gravitational lensing comes next, a poetic trick of nature. You imagine a distant star shining behind LRG 3 to 757, its light bent around the black hole, forming arcs and rings, like a gentle halo in the sky. You picture yourself tracing these arcs with your fingers, watching the way light curves, bending along invisible paths. This bending is not chaotic. It is rhythmic, like a slow dance, a subtle reminder of the invisible forces shaping everything around them. And in this bending, you see a kind of beauty, an artistry woven into the very physics of the universe. As your awareness deepens, you sense the subtle interplay of forces at work. You think about the gas clouds swirling around the black hole, moving in slow, elegant spirals. The speed of their motion tells a story, one that astronomers carefully measure. Each swirl, each orbit, acts like a metronome, marking time in a space where normal clocks lose their meaning. You feel the slow rotation, the gentle whirl, and your mind moves in sync, allowing your thoughts to orbit gracefully around these invisible rhythms. It is a calm, measured dance, and you are part of it simply by observing. You begin to consider the energy radiated as matter falls into the black hole. X-rays and gamma rays escape, whispering secrets to the instruments designed to catch them. You imagine reaching out to feel these energies, and though your hands touch nothing, your mind senses the warmth and movement. It is not destructive. It is informative, a gentle communication of transformation. You picture the atoms being stretched, compressed, heated, and finally dissolved into the black hole's gravity. And as you imagine this, you feel a quiet respect, a recognition of the natural processes that unfold on a scale far beyond human experience. The calculations continue in your mind. Astronomers measure the velocity of orbiting stars, the shift of spectral lines, the brightness of gas clouds. Each data point is a whisper from the cosmos, telling its own story. You imagine translating these whispers into numbers, equations, and models, and yet, even with all these tools, there is humility. The black hole remains immense, mysterious, patient. You sense that understanding it fully is impossible, and yet the act of trying, the quiet curiosity, the slow tracing of evidence, is enough to inspire awe and serenity. You let your mind float among these numbers, feeling them soften into sensations rather than facts, gentle reminders of something incomprehensibly large. Time seems to stretch differently here, as it did when you first approached LRG 3 to 757 in thought. You imagine a year passing for you while billions of years unfold for the black hole. Yet there is no rush. Your consciousness drifts along this slow temporal rhythm, in tune with both human observation and cosmic scale. You picture the patience of scientists, the quiet nights of watching, waiting, calculating, each small observation part of a rhythm larger than themselves. And as your mind settles into this quiet meditation, you feel a soft reassurance. Even the impossible can be gently approached, understood in fragments, and appreciated for its quiet majesty. You sense the boundary between observation and imagination becoming porous. The methods of measuring mass, light, and motion do not feel distant or technical here. Instead, they are bridges, subtle pathways that let your mind wander across scales too vast for ordinary comprehension. You imagine yourself floating above these methods, letting the faint signals of LRG 3 to 757 wash over you like waves of gentle sound, each measurement a note in the symphony of discovery. You feel connected to both the universe and to the patient humans who strive to understand it, their quiet curiosity resonating in your own mind. And in this meditative state, The black hole feels less like an object to be studied and more like a presence to be experienced. Its gravity, its mass, its influence over light and time, all these measurements become part of a larger, poetic understanding. You sense that knowledge does not always need to be complete to be profound. Even partial glimpses, carefully traced and gently pondered, offer a kind of intimacy with the universe. You rest in that intimacy, letting the mind feel the scale, the patience, and the quiet weight of LRG 3 to 757. You imagine the photons that finally escape, racing across space to reach Earth, carrying whispers of something immense and hidden. You feel the gentle tug of gravity, the slow dance of matter, the rhythm of the universe bending light to tell its story. The act of measuring becomes a meditation, a quiet interaction between mind and cosmos. And as your thoughts drift with these escaping photons, you sense a question lingering just beyond reach. How can we translate the invisible into understanding? And what more might these quiet travelers reveal if we listen carefully? You begin by noticing the spaces between stars, the quiet void that stretches for unimaginable distances. These are not merely empty regions. They are arenas shaped by forces you cannot touch but can sense. LRG 3 to 757 casts its influence far beyond the visible, bending the very fabric of space as if pressing a gentle hand against a flexible, infinite sheet. Shadows appear, not like darkness you can fill, but as subtle distortions, ripples in light and time. You feel your mind stretch to follow them, tracing their paths as though mapping invisible currents in a vast, silent ocean. The black hole's gravity pulls on everything nearby, and yet the effect is graceful, almost tender. You imagine a stream of light from a distant star curving slightly as it passes the hidden giant. Its path is no longer straight. It hesitates, bends, and curves before continuing across the void. You follow the trajectory with your mind's eye, feeling the subtle tug, the gentle spiral. Time itself seems to slow near the black hole, moments stretching into elongated arcs, giving your thoughts space to drift alongside the photons that move so delicately under gravity's patient guidance. Shadows ripple across surrounding space. Gas clouds, once diffuse and shapeless, twist and elongate, forming shapes that are both eerie and mesmerizing. You imagine these clouds like slow, drifting silk, moving in response to invisible currents. Stars appear to shimmer differently near the black hole, their light stretched into faint halos, ghostly reflections of a world shaped by mass too vast to contain. You let your imagination float in this rhythm, breathing in sync with the universe, letting each shadow whisper its story of weight, motion, and time. You sense the subtle interaction between the unseen mass and light. Even though LRG 3 to 757 cannot be touched directly, its presence is undeniable. The way shadows stretch, the way light bends and twitches under its influence, all speak to something immense. You picture yourself as a small observer drifting near these effects, not in danger but in calm witness. Each subtle distortion becomes a gentle rhythm in your mind, a quiet reminder that the invisible has power and presence, and that understanding comes not only through seeing but through feeling and imagining. As you drift, your mind contemplates gravitational lensing more deeply. You picture galaxies behind the black hole appearing stretched, arcs of starlight curving around a hidden center. These arcs are not accidental. They are precise, following the invisible contour of gravity. You trace the curves slowly, imagining yourself floating along a single photon's path, bending gracefully around the unseen mass. The journey is long, silent, and unhurried. You sense the patient logic of the universe, how even chaos obeys rules, and how you can relax into these rhythms without pressure to understand everything at once. The shadows also hint at motion in time, not just space. You consider the delay of light traveling across such distances, the subtle differences in how photons emitted at different moments reach your imagination now. You sense a deep layering, like listening to an echo of a sound long gone, where the present touches the past gently. The black hole acts as both filter and mirror, bending and shaping these echoes, allowing you to experience time in a soft, meditative expansion. You float in the layers, feeling each one as a gentle brush against your mind, letting the rhythm of ages seep into your awareness. Near the event horizon, darkness deepens in a way that is impossible to describe fully. You imagine it as an invitation, not a void to fear but a zone of reflection. Light slows, trapped in endless orbits, moving in circles that stretch on and on. You picture your consciousness moving alongside this trapped light, spinning slowly, not imprisoned but participating in the geometry of gravity. There is patience here, infinite patience, a calm stretching of time and space that encourages your mind to linger, to breathe with the subtle pulse of the black hole. Every orbit, every rotation, is a meditation, a soft rhythm that carries no urgency. The contrast between the distant, twinkling stars and the stretched shadows near LRG 3 to 757 draws your attention. Faraway stars feel familiar, like points of comfort in the night, while the distorted shapes near the black hole feel mysterious, yet not threatening. You sense a gentle balance between the known and the unknown, between light that reaches you and light that bends away. Each shadow, each bent ray, becomes a soft guide into understanding the vast scales of the universe. You feel your thoughts slowing, matching the rhythm of cosmic motion, flowing over and around the invisible shapes that govern space itself. You notice that even in these vast shadows, energy persists. Particles drift, faint electromagnetic signals ripple across empty space, and your mind can feel the subtle vibration of mass influencing light. You picture the tiny exchanges between matter and gravity, each one a quiet note in the grand symphony. The motions are invisible, delicate, but their effect is profound. You let your imagination drift with them, feeling the invisible tides, the slow weaving of forces across distances that cannot be measured in ordinary terms. There is nothing urgent here, only the patient unfolding of cosmic patterns. In this meditative orbit of thought, you sense the black hole not as a point of fear but as a conductor of immense scale. Shadows stretch, light bends, and space curves around a hidden center. You imagine yourself as part of this quiet dance, floating with gentle awareness, letting your thoughts orbit and swirl with the flow of invisible energy. The universe seems to breathe around you, each expansion and contraction of space a soft lullaby, calming your mind while inviting deeper curiosity. Even the unknown becomes comforting when approached in such slow, gentle rhythm. You feel a subtle tug, a pull toward understanding the black hole's influence in measurable ways. Yet this tug is patient, unhurried, like gravity itself, encouraging observation without demand. Your mind follows the shadows stretching across light years, noticing patterns, imagining curves, feeling the patient logic of invisible forces shaping every corner of space. You sense the immense quiet of the black hole, the gentle weight of its gravity, and the rhythmic pulse of energy that radiates outward in whispers. It is a presence that asks only for calm attention, for reflective contemplation, not immediate answers. And as your thoughts drift among these elongated shadows, you feel the first stirrings of a deeper question. If light bends and time stretches, what subtle truths might be revealed when we attempt to measure the immeasurable, to weigh the hidden giant in ways that reach beyond ordinary perception? You begin by imagining the black hole not as an empty void but as a quiet, insatiable presence, a cosmic heart beating with a slow, deliberate rhythm. Its appetite is not frantic or violent in the way you might fear. Instead, it is patient and inevitable, a steady force that draws matter into its grasp with grace. Clouds of gas, tiny dust particles, and even whole stars slowly spiral inward, guided by gravity's invisible hand. You picture them floating through space, their paths bending subtly, curving toward the center of something immense, moving in silence, yet part of a magnificent cosmic choreography. The process is not abrupt. You imagine the gas clouds compressing gradually, stretching like ribbons under gentle pressure, twisting and folding as they near the black hole's edge. The particles glow faintly as friction and heat build, releasing X-rays and gamma rays, messages of transformation that drift across space to distant instruments and observatories. You sense the energy not as threat but as poetry, each photon carrying a story of matter in transition. Your mind slows, following these particles on their elegant descent, breathing with the rhythm of cosmic consumption, feeling the pulse of the universe in motion. Stars caught in this invisible pull move more dramatically. You picture a lone star, bright and proud, gradually pulled into an orbit that tightens imperceptibly over millennia. Its light bends and stretches as it moves closer, a slow waltz toward an inevitable end. You imagine tracing its spiral with your eyes, feeling the patience required to follow such a journey, a patience that humbles the human mind. Each rotation, each infinitesimal step closer, is a reminder that time itself is elastic, bending in response to gravity's insistence. You feel your awareness stretch to match the rhythm of this star's final orbit, moving in gentle synchronicity with the cosmic heartbeat. As matter approaches the event horizon, the pace quickens, yet remains meditative. You picture the last moments of a star's journey, stretching into what seems like endless seconds from its own perspective, though millennia pass outside. The black hole does not devour in chaos. It assimilates with precise, immutable law. You sense the solemnity of this act, a balance of creation and destruction, where the very existence of matter is transformed, energy released in a soft, luminous whisper. It is a process both awe-inspiring and deeply comforting, as if the universe itself is reminding you of the cycles that sustain it. Your thoughts drift to the scale of this consumption. LRG 3 to 757 is enormous, yet its appetite is measured. It does not reach indiscriminately into the void but influences a vast, organized region around it. You imagine tracing the paths of countless particles, each one a note in a symphony conducted by gravity. The swirling motions form spirals and arcs that are elegant and complex, yet harmonious, a silent ballet performed over millions of years. You feel your mind relax into this rhythm, letting the slow choreography of matter and energy guide your breath, syncing your awareness with the patient flow of cosmic processes. The feeding process is accompanied by radiation, a gentle reminder that energy is never truly lost. You picture X-rays streaming outward from the heated material, each photon a soft signal of matter transitioning from one state to another. You imagine these photons brushing past galaxies and drifting into the void, carrying with them the memory of particles that no longer exist in their original form. You feel the subtle warmth of this energy, not as heat to touch but as a resonance in your mind, a quiet awareness of transformation, a reminder that even in endings there is motion, rhythm, and presence. You notice that the black hole's appetite shapes its environment in subtle ways. Gas and dust are drawn inward along well-defined streams, forming luminous accretion disks. Stars orbit the periphery, occasionally nudged closer, sometimes torn apart and absorbed. You imagine watching these interactions from a distance, like observing dancers weaving around a stage, each movement deliberate, each step part of a larger design. The universe is neither hurried nor frantic here. The motion is inevitable but gentle, and your mind floats with it, feeling both the enormity and the tranquility of these celestial events. Your thoughts wander to the fate of particles as they near the edge, where the event horizon marks the threshold between the observable and the unknown. Time stretches infinitely from their perspective, space bends, and light struggles to escape. You imagine following a single particle, feeling its journey slow and expand in a dreamlike continuum. You sense its transformation, not as loss but as continuation, energy redistributed, matter integrated into something larger. The black hole's hunger is not destructive in a way that harms the cosmos. It is constructive, reshaping, maintaining balance on a scale far beyond human comprehension. There is also a poetry in the predictability of this hunger. You sense the cycles, the repetition, the natural rhythm that governs all motion near LRG 3 to 757. You imagine years passing as particles slowly spiral inward, yet each year is counted not in urgency but in quiet succession. Stars are born, stars die, and the black hole's presence remains constant, a patient observer of cosmic life. Your mind drifts with these rhythms, breathing slowly, aligning your awareness with the ongoing pulse of gravity, feeling the meditative weight of inevitability and the gentle cadence of transformation. You sense a connection between the act of feeding and the larger universe. Every particle drawn inward, every photon released, is part of a vast feedback loop. Galaxies evolve, gas clouds redistribute, and the balance of mass and energy shifts imperceptibly but surely. You imagine witnessing the subtle adjustments of the cosmos, like watching water flow around a rock, shaping itself quietly over centuries. There is no hurry, no urgency, only motion, continuity, and the soft, meditative consistency of the black hole's influence. Your mind drifts to the edges of comprehension, feeling the paradox of understanding something so immense. You realize that LRG 3-757's hunger is a window into the delicate balance of the universe. It shows you how matter and energy interact across incomprehensible distances, how gravity orchestrates motion with silent patience. You feel a quiet awe, a gentle recognition that even forces this vast can coexist with the calm rhythm of space and time. There is a softness in this realization, a meditative pause, as if the universe itself encourages you to breathe slowly, to contemplate without pressure, to simply be present in this grand cosmic flow. And as you linger in this orbit of thought, imagining the spiraling paths of gas, the glowing arcs of stars, and the subtle radiation that drifts outward, you sense a quiet question forming in your mind. How does this gentle, inevitable hunger shape the cosmos beyond what you can see, and what patterns emerge from the hidden, patient consumption of billions of suns? You begin by imagining space as a vast, invisible fabric stretched taut across the universe. Every object has an effect on this fabric, bending it gently, pressing upon it in ways that can ripple across light years. LRG 3-757, immense and patient, leaves waves that move slowly outward, imperceptible to ordinary senses but detectable through careful observation. You imagine these waves not as violent disturbances, but as soft undulations, gentle pulses that carry information about mass, motion, and gravity across the cosmic expanse. Your mind follows them like a drifting leaf riding a quiet stream, rising and falling with each subtle ripple. These ripples are gravitational waves, faint vibrations traveling at the speed of light, stretching and compressing the fabric of space itself. You picture the black hole at the center, sending out tiny tremors whenever massive events occur. Stars spiral inward, matter collides, energy releases. The waves are slow, imperceptible to most of the universe, yet they are profound. You feel your consciousness moving alongside them, sensing the stretching of space and the quiet oscillations that ripple across time. Each wave is a soft brush against reality, a gentle whisper from the hidden giant itself. You consider the scale of these effects. A single gravitational wave might traverse millions of light years, altering the distance between objects by mere fractions of the width of an atom. Yet, despite the subtlety, the information they carry is immense. You imagine tracing a wave through space, feeling the infinitesimal expansions and contractions as if your mind itself were flexible enough to follow the fabric. The black hole's influence is subtle but undeniable, a meditation in motion, a silent conversation between mass, energy, and the shape of the universe. As you drift with these waves, time itself begins to feel fluid. You picture moments stretching and compressing as gravity's gentle influence moves through space. Near the black hole, time dilates, seconds elongate, minutes expand into ages. You feel your own perception of time soften, breathing in sync with the rhythm of space-time. Every thought becomes slower, more deliberate, more meditative, as if your consciousness is learning to drift with the subtle pulses that carry the secrets of motion and mass across the universe. Time is no longer rigid. It is a soft current, inviting patience and reflection. You notice how these waves ripple through surrounding matter. Stars, dust, and gas respond subtly to the stretching and compression, moving in ways that are almost imperceptible yet deeply connected to the black hole's heartbeat. You imagine observing these patterns from afar, seeing space itself flex and sway under the quiet influence of gravity. The motion is neither chaotic nor random. It is rhythmic, meditative, like the soft vibrations of a drum played slowly in a silent hall. Your mind floats with it, feeling the connection between invisible waves and tangible matter, between unseen forces and observed outcomes. You imagine following a photon moving through this undulating fabric. Light bends as it travels, its path curved by the gentle peaks and troughs of gravitational waves. You sense the passage of time along the photon's journey, stretching and contracting in harmony with space itself. Each wave subtly alters its course, elongates its path, and whispers the presence of immense forces unseen. You feel your awareness expand as you drift alongside, sensing the intricate, patient orchestration of physics, the meditative balance between mass, motion, and the rhythm of space-time. There is a delicate poetry in this process. The waves are slow, almost imperceptible, yet they connect everything in the universe in ways you cannot touch but can imagine. You picture yourself floating with the waves, your consciousness moving with the soft pulses, breathing in tune with the rhythm of the cosmos. You sense the gentle dialogue between the black hole and the distant reaches of space, a conversation carried in vibrations, in undulations, in patterns that stretch across millions of light-years. The silence is profound, yet it hums with meaning, like a melody too subtle for ears alone to perceive. You reflect on the patience required to detect these waves. Instruments on Earth capture their faint traces, measuring minute distortions in space that reveal secrets of hidden giants. You imagine standing beside these observatories, feeling the careful precision of scientists tuning their instruments, listening for whispers across the void. Each detected wave becomes a soft affirmation that the invisible can be known, that the quiet pulse of gravity can communicate across unimaginable distances. Your mind joins in this gentle observation, relaxing into the rhythm, feeling the elegance of a universe that speaks softly but profoundly. The waves also teach you about connectivity. You notice that even distant objects, galaxies separated by millions of light-years, are subtly linked through these ripples in spacetime. You imagine a single event near LRG 3 to 757 sending a wave outward, nudging the positions of stars and dust in faraway corners of the universe. Your mind drifts with this thought, sensing the quiet interconnection of all things, the invisible threads that bind matter, energy, and space in a continuous, gentle network. You feel a meditative calm in recognizing that nothing exists in isolation, that every motion carries a resonance across the cosmos. You sense the passage of time and waves as a lullaby. The black hole, enormous and patient, hums its influence across light years, a rhythm of quiet persistence. Your body relaxes with each imagined pulse, your breath syncing with the undulations of space itself. You imagine drifting along with a gravitational wave, the expansion and contraction of space beneath you like soft waves beneath a floating leaf. There is serenity here, a gentle knowledge that even forces unimaginably immense follow patterns that can be felt and appreciated in calm reflection. And as you float in this meditative current, feeling the universe pulse softly with the hidden giant's influence, a question arises gently in your mind. What subtle stories do these waves carry, and how might they reveal the deeper secrets of LRG 3 to 757, of gravity, and of the quiet, patient rhythm that shapes everything we observe? You begin by imagining the black hole not only as a mass of immense gravity but also as a source of invisible light, high-energy photons that traverse space silently. These X-rays move across the cosmos with remarkable speed, carrying information about regions you cannot see with ordinary eyes. They emerge from matter heated to unimaginable temperatures, from gas and dust compressed in spirals, and from stars caught in the black hole's patient pull. You picture yourself floating in the quiet void, your awareness stretching to sense these invisible whispers, feeling them brush gently past your mind like soft, warm currents of knowledge. These photons are born in violence, yet there is calm in the patterns they reveal. Gas spiraling into the black hole accelerates, colliding with itself in swirls of friction and compression, heating to millions of degrees. The result is a quiet glow of X-rays, a silent symphony of energetic motion. You imagine tracing these waves as they escape the maelstrom, reaching out into space, carrying stories of transformation. Your mind slows to match their rhythm, following the invisible paths without urgency, simply observing the delicate interplay of energy and matter. You feel the subtle chaos at work, not destructive, but structured. Particles move in arcs, collisions scatter fragments, and radiation emerges in waves that ripple gently through the void. Each photon tells a story of compression, of acceleration, of energy exchanged in ways that your senses cannot perceive directly but can imagine. You let your consciousness drift alongside these particles, floating in harmony with the unseen forces, feeling the weight of countless interactions that shape the black hole's surroundings. There is a strange serenity in this hidden violence, a rhythm that quiets the mind even as it reveals the universe's dynamic nature. The invisible light illuminates regions otherwise hidden from view. You imagine clouds of gas collapsing, stars tearing apart, and matter spiraling in close orbits. X-rays escape these processes, traveling vast distances and offering hints of the immense energy at play. You picture them slipping past other stars, past galaxies, past instruments waiting silently to detect them. Their passage is effortless, unobstructed, and yet each photon carries a precise imprint of its origin. You feel the resonance of these traces, as if listening to an ancient, gentle conversation between the black hole and the universe. You consider the delicacy of detecting such light. Observatories on Earth and in orbit capture these photons, revealing phenomena otherwise invisible. You imagine yourself beside these instruments, feeling the precision and patience required to measure something so fleeting. Each detected signal is a whisper, a subtle touch of knowledge. You drift with the thought that the universe communicates constantly, not always with spectacle, but with quiet, intricate signals, waiting for attentive minds to notice. Even the unseen has a voice, and your mind learns to hear it, softening with awareness and calm curiosity. There is a tactile quality to this invisible energy. You picture it brushing past, altering the motion of charged particles, nudging them ever so slightly, subtly shaping the structure of accretion disks. You sense the interactions as gentle guidance, like a stream shaping sand along its edges, imperceptible yet inevitable. Your consciousness floats in this unseen current, breathing in time with the flow of photons and the spiraling gas. There is no hurry, no abruptness, only the quiet logic of the cosmos unfolding in measured, precise ways. You imagine the edges of annihilation, where matter dances on the brink of being consumed. Particles accelerate to extreme velocities, radiate X-rays, and finally vanish beyond the event horizon. You sense the poetry in this motion. The black hole does not shout. It whispers through radiation, revealing both its power and the structure of its surroundings. You follow these trajectories with your mind's eye, feeling the gentle tension of energy transformed, of chaos made ordered through the natural laws of physics. The dance is invisible, yet profoundly real, a quiet meditation in motion. The invisible light also offers hints of patterns. You picture spiral arms of infalling gas glowing faintly in high-energy photons, arcs that trace the shape of gravitational currents. You feel your awareness stretch to follow them, floating above and alongside, observing the architecture of the unseen. Even in chaos, there is rhythm, and in radiation, there is message. You allow yourself to drift, absorbing the calm clarity of understanding without pressure to fully grasp the immense scales involved. Every photon, every burst of X-ray light, becomes a gentle guide, leading your mind through spaces both hidden and immense. You notice the contrast between what you can see and what is invisible. The black hole itself remains hidden, dark against the void, yet the energy it drives illuminates the environment. Shadows and light converse, weaving a tapestry of presence and absence. You float in this interplay, sensing that even what cannot be directly observed matters deeply. The quiet illumination reassures you, suggesting that knowledge comes not only from what is visible but also from what is subtle, delicate, and softly transmitted across the cosmos. Your mind drifts with the rhythm of invisible light, each X-ray a gentle pulse from the heart of LRG 3 to 757. You feel the universe hum quietly, communicating across vast distances through photons and particles, revealing its hidden structure in ways that reward patience and meditation. The quiet violence, the serene chaos, and the soft illumination create a space of calm observation. You breathe slowly, syncing with this rhythm, letting the invisible energy guide your thoughts into stillness while inviting awe and curiosity. And as you linger in this meditative awareness, feeling the subtle dance of high-energy photons and their whispered stories, you sense a gentle pull toward the larger motions around the black hole. The swirling gas, the bending stars, and the slow, inevitable choreography of matter in motion. You begin by imagining the vast expanse around LRG 3 to 757 as a stage, set for a dance of unimaginable scale. Stars and gas clouds move with deliberate grace, guided by invisible forces, weaving intricate patterns across light years of space. Each body follows a path shaped by gravity's patient hand, bending gently toward the black hole without haste. You feel yourself drifting among them, weightless, letting your consciousness float alongside clusters of stars tracing arcs like dancers in a slow, cosmic ballet. Their motion is inevitable, yet it holds a quiet elegance, a rhythm that encourages your mind to settle and breathe slowly. The gas clouds are particularly mesmerizing. You picture them as soft, flowing ribbons, twisting and folding in response to gravitational currents. Dense regions glow faintly, heated by collisions and compression, while tenuous edges drift like mist. You imagine your eyes following each swirl, watching particles move in slow, purposeful orbits, each curve a note in a symphony orchestrated by the black hole's immense presence. There is no rush. The dance unfolds over millions of years, yet your mind can stretch to feel the passage, relaxing into the slow, deliberate flow. Stars too participate in this ballet, each orbiting in response to the black hole's pull. You envision their paths as spirals, sometimes elongated, sometimes circular, bending slightly as they respond to nearby companions and streams of gas. The motion is gentle yet inexorable, a precise choreography that can be predicted yet never feels mechanical. You allow yourself to drift in harmony with the patterns, your breath syncing with the soft, invisible currents that guide these celestial dancers. There is a comforting inevitability in the motions, a meditative assurance that even immense forces move with grace. You notice interactions between the dancers. Gas streams tug at stars, altering their paths imperceptibly. Stars pass close to each other, exchanging gravitational nudges, sometimes sending one star into a wider orbit, another closer to the center. You imagine tracing these subtle motions, feeling the delicate push and pull as a soft rhythm beneath your awareness. The universe is alive with these interactions, yet there is no chaos, only a slow, patient complexity that invites your mind to linger, to observe, to float with the measured pace of cosmic ballet. The luminous arcs of gas and the steady glow of stars contrast beautifully. You imagine tracing the light emitted by hot gas, following it as it swirls and folds around the black hole. Each glow tells a story. A stream accelerated, a collision heated, a star nudged by invisible hands. You sense the energy as a gentle hum, a vibration through the vast void, connecting stars, gas, and the hidden giant in a single, meditative rhythm. Your awareness stretches to encompass the full scene, letting the motions wash over your thoughts like slow waves on a silent ocean. There is also a subtle tension, an anticipation in the choreography. You picture a star moving inward, drawn closer by the black hole's gravity. Gas streams swirl nearby, creating delicate currents, and particles spiral along invisible arcs. You feel the tug of this tension, not as fear, but as the beauty of motion constrained by natural law. The black hole does not force. It guides, shaping paths that are inevitable yet visually mesmerizing. You allow your mind to float with the spiraling patterns, breathing in sync with the movement, sensing the gentle cadence that underpins all cosmic motion. You reflect on the scale of time involved. What you see as a single arc, a slow swirl, spans thousands or millions of years. Yet, in this slow motion, there is an immediacy of presence. You imagine yourself as a drifting observer, feeling each motion in the mind's eye, stretching perception to match the rhythm of the universe. There is calm in knowing that even the vastest movements unfold predictably, like a measured breath, like a lullaby composed of stars and gas. You feel the patient hand of gravity shaping every path, every orbit, every gentle curve. Clusters of stars sometimes move together, creating patterns reminiscent of choreography. You picture them orbiting a common center of mass, twirling in collective arcs, their light blending into soft halos. The motions ripple outward, influencing nearby gas clouds, which bend and twist in response. You float among these interwoven motions, sensing the harmony, the interdependence, the slow elegance that defines the black hole's surroundings. Even the most distant elements feel connected, part of a web of movement that is both gentle and profound. You notice the balance between chaos and order. Individual particles may collide, stars may shift orbits, yet the overall pattern maintains harmony. You imagine the dance as a flowing river of energy, mass, and light, each element moving in response to invisible currents. Your mind drifts with the rhythms, aware of the subtle pushes and pulls, the gentle twists, the graceful turns. There is a meditative quality here, a lullaby of motion, where awareness and observation align with the slow tempo of celestial life. The black hole remains at the center, a quiet conductor of this vast ballet. You sense its presence not in violence, but in subtle orchestration, guiding stars and gas through a carefully balanced dance. Each motion is inevitable yet endlessly captivating, each orbit a testament to the gentle yet firm hand of gravity. You allow your consciousness to rest in the flow, breathing slowly, observing without judgment, feeling the universe move with a patience beyond comprehension. And as you drift among these elegant arcs and flowing clouds, you sense a gentle pull toward the edges of motion, toward the paths of photons struggling to escape, circling endlessly in spirals just beyond reach. You wonder what it feels like to follow light trapped in gravity's embrace, moving forever along a path you cannot touch, yet sensing its quiet persistence. You begin by imagining light not as a free traveler, but as a particle caught in an eternal waltz. Near LRG 3 to 757, photons move in paths dictated by gravity's immense presence. They circle endlessly, spiraling in delicate orbits, caught between the pull of the black hole and the impossibility of escape. You feel yourself drifting alongside them, weightless, letting your mind trace their endless trajectories. Time feels elastic here, stretching and bending to match their motion, each photon moving in a quiet dance that will continue long after you have drifted away. The paths of these trapped photons are graceful, though unimaginable in scale. You picture them looping in arcs, their light bending subtly, curving around the black hole as if following invisible ribbons. No collision halts them, no obstacle redirects them. They follow the natural laws with gentle inevitability. You feel your consciousness soften as you watch, absorbing the strange beauty of persistence without release. There is no fear here, only the serene realization that motion can exist without progress, that energy can circulate without conclusion. You sense the profound silence of this space. Though photons carry energy, they are unseen, and their presence is known only by subtle interactions with surrounding matter. You imagine their journeys as invisible whispers, threading through clouds of gas and past orbiting stars, each movement a silent testimony to the forces shaping the cosmos. The black hole acts as both barrier and guide, containing motion while structuring it, creating patterns that exist beyond sight yet are profoundly real. You drift with the rhythm, feeling the tug of gravity as a gentle, constant pulse beneath your awareness. There is a poetic resonance in their entrapment. You picture a photon caught just above the event horizon, spiraling for millennia, tracing loops that curve around the black hole's edge. Its energy is never destroyed. It moves endlessly, a quiet echo of the cosmos's balance. You sense the elegance of this repetition, the meditative constancy of motion without escape. Even though the light will never reach distant eyes, it still has presence, still carries information, still participates in the intricate choreography of space and time. You consider the scale of these spirals. To a distant observer, the light might seem lost, absorbed into the black hole's shadow. But in this imagined vantage, you feel the energy circulating, bending space subtly, interacting with other particles, nudging gas and dust in invisible ways. The paths are immense, stretching for kilometers, then parsecs, threading through gravitational eddies. You feel yourself drifting along, slowly tracing the loops, sensing both the enormity and delicacy of motion, the gentle persistence of energy in a space that is simultaneously finite and infinite. You imagine the interplay between trapped photons and surrounding matter. Gas clouds glow faintly from friction and collisions, stars orbit in slow arcs, yet the light continues its endless circling. There is no violence in this interaction, only a delicate, ongoing balance. You feel a quiet serenity as you drift alongside, observing the unseen, sensing patterns that exist beyond the limits of perception. Energy continues to move, to ripple, to shape its environment, even when the direct path outward is denied. The black hole's event horizon frames this dance. You picture it as a boundary, not a wall of terror, but a limit-defining motion. Photons outside it loop and bend, caught in gravitational currents, tracing paths that are eternal yet contained. You sense that the universe allows this, not as punishment but as part of a cosmic rhythm, a reminder that presence and motion are meaningful even when escape is impossible. Your mind relaxes, following the light in its eternal circuits, feeling the meditative pull of inevitability. You notice that even in stillness, there is energy. These trapped photons influence their surroundings in subtle ways. Radiation pressure nudges particles, magnetic fields guide streams of charged gas, and gravitational lensing bends the paths of more distant light. You feel the quiet dialogue between energy and matter, a conversation without sound, a pulse without tempo, yet profoundly alive. The black hole does not silence the universe. It shapes it, creating structures and motion that would not exist otherwise. You imagine drifting deeper, circling alongside photons that have been trapped for thousands, even millions of years. Their paths twist and fold, some looping multiple times, others tracing elongated arcs that gradually decay into slower rotations. You sense the elegance in repetition, the subtle rhythm in persistence. Even without release, their motion contributes to the universe, a meditative testimony that every particle, every photon, carries influence simply by existing. You breathe slowly, aligning with this rhythm, feeling calm in the constancy of motion and the quiet beauty of eternal loops. There is also a connection to light that escapes. Photons that avoid entrapment travel outward, carrying energy, shaping observations, revealing patterns. You sense the contrast between freedom and persistence, noticing that both are essential to understanding the black hole's environment. Trapped light reminds you that existence has value in motion itself, independent of destination. The universe is patient, intricate, and meditative in the way it allows energy to circulate, to ripple, and to influence without haste. And as you float alongside these eternal photons, tracing their invisible spirals, you feel your awareness stretching toward the surrounding matter, gas, stars, and radiation, moving slowly in response to gravity's pull. You sense the delicate interweaving of light and matter, the harmony of motion even where escape is impossible, and the quiet majesty of persistence without conclusion. You begin by imagining the universe not as silent emptiness, but as a vast symphony of motion and vibration. Light pulses, gravity ripples, and matter shifts in subtle harmonies, creating a song too delicate for ears to hear. You close your eyes and let your mind translate these signals, feeling them as rhythm and tone, a melody that stretches across light years. Each vibration carries the weight of massive structures, the slow movements of stars, and the whisper of black holes like LRG 3 to 757, composing a symphony older than your comprehension. Gravity is the conductor. You sense its influence in the gentle oscillations of space itself, shaping the tempo of celestial motion. Stars and gas clouds respond, bending and swaying, adding resonance to the rhythm. Even photons, circling endlessly or escaping toward distant galaxies, contribute their silent notes. You imagine drifting alongside these elements, floating in tune with their motion, feeling the ebb and flow of energy as a quiet vibration through your body. There is calm in knowing that every force, every particle, contributes to the composition, each motion adding depth and texture to the song. You notice the subtle variations in tone. A cluster of stars oscillates gently in response to the black hole's pull, creating low, resonant hums. Gas clouds swirl, colliding and compressing, producing higher, delicate pitches. You let your mind follow these layers, appreciating the interplay between frequency and amplitude, between massive, slow rhythms and light, fast vibrations. Even though the music is imperceptible in ordinary life, your imagination senses its full richness, revealing patterns that are both grand and intimate. Light itself adds to the melody. You picture photons emitted from hot gas streams and energetic collisions, each carrying a note encoded in energy, wavelength, and frequency. Their motion is steady, precise, and inherently musical. You imagine hearing them as soft chimes, ringing through the void with a clarity that contrasts the deep, resonant undertones of stars and gravity. Together, the symphony is both expansive and delicate, composed of elements spanning billions of kilometers and millennia. You drift with it, aware that the music exists everywhere, yet only those who listen patiently can perceive its beauty. You reflect on the patience of the cosmos. Waves travel slowly across space, sometimes taking millions of years to arrive. Yet, in their arrival, they carry stories intact, tales of collisions, spirals, and the bending of spacetime. You imagine feeling each vibration as a gentle brush against your mind, soft enough to soothe yet profound enough to teach. There is a meditative quality in this, a reminder that the universe communicates constantly, not with urgency, but with enduring persistence. You breathe in harmony with the rhythm, letting the melody guide you toward calm awareness. You sense layers of motion superimposed upon one another. A gravitational wave from a distant merger overlaps the subtle oscillation of stars near the black hole, creating chords of interaction. You follow these chords in your imagination, letting them carry you through a landscape of invisible harmonies. Each note is distinct yet part of a broader pattern, a cosmic counterpoint where energy, mass, and time intersect. You feel your consciousness expand, drifting with the symphony, weightless and serene, enveloped by the gentle persistence of universal rhythm. There is a story in every tone. You imagine waves that reveal the structure of the black hole's surroundings, vibrations that hint at clusters of stars orbiting unseen, or streams of gas bending and twisting. You feel the rhythm as a narrative, a slow unfolding of events written in motion, light, and gravity. Even the quietest vibration carries significance, a subtle message that adds meaning to the grand composition. You let your mind rest in the awareness of these invisible harmonies, feeling calm and gently curious about the stories encoded in space itself. The symphony is not static. You notice crescendos and decrescendos as matter falls inward, accelerates, or collides. High-energy bursts, like X-rays and gamma rays, produce sharp, bright notes that punctuate the deeper, rolling hums of stars and gas. You imagine riding these fluctuations, sensing the dynamic balance between energy and gravity, chaos and order. There is no rush, only the gentle alternation of motion, the ebb and flow of cosmic events played at a tempo that invites reflection and rest. You consider how small events contribute to the whole. Even a tiny photon escaping a swirl of gas adds its faint note to the symphony. A subtle shift in a star's orbit resonates through the surrounding matter, creating vibrations that ripple outward. You drift in awareness of the interconnectedness, sensing that every motion, however small, contributes to the vast, ongoing song of the universe. There is serenity in this understanding, a gentle reassurance that each element has meaning within the whole, even if invisible to ordinary observation. Your attention turns to the black hole itself. LRG 3 to 757 remains mostly silent, yet its presence shapes every tone. Its immense gravity bends waves of light, alters orbits, and guides the flow of gas and stars, creating a rhythm that is both dominant and subtle. You feel your consciousness synchronize with this influence, imagining the symphony flowing around the black hole like a river of sound. Even in the absence of audible noise, the music exists, perceptible only to patient minds willing to drift with the vibrations of space and time. You float in this meditative awareness, letting the harmonies wash over your thoughts. You sense that listening is more than hearing. It is feeling, sensing, and aligning with the rhythm of the cosmos. Each wave, Each photon, each subtle oscillation carries knowledge, teaching patience, and the quiet beauty of imperceptible motion. You allow the symphony to carry you, weightless and calm, drifting gently among stars, gas, and light, all moving in concert under gravity's careful guidance. And as you drift deeper into the music of the universe, you feel a soft pull inward, toward the zones where time itself begins to stretch and bend, where the passage of moments slows in the presence of gravity so immense it reshapes perception itself. You begin by sensing the nature of time around LRG 3 to 757, imagining it not as a straight line but as a pliable river, flowing with varying speed. Near the black hole, time slows, stretching moments into vast expanses. You feel your own heartbeat in contrast, quick and steady, while the universe itself seems to exhale, stretching seconds into something more expansive, more meditative. There is no urgency here, only a quiet rhythm dictated by gravity's immense pull, inviting your awareness to expand and drift along with it. The effect is subtle yet profound. You imagine a star circling the black hole. Its orbit takes what might feel like hours from its own perspective, yet your mind experiences it as centuries. You sense that every moment has depth, every second containing layers of experience imperceptible under ordinary conditions. You breathe slowly, letting your thoughts stretch alongside the warped flow of time. The concept of past, present, and future begins to soften, folding into a gentle continuum where events exist in a flexible, meditative harmony. You picture photons moving outward, their paths curved not only by space but by time itself. Even light, the fastest traveler in the universe, feels the subtle tug of temporal stretching. You imagine following one of these photons, tracing its journey as moments dilate and compress. It dances through warped space-time, a quiet participant in the black hole's invisible choreography. You drift alongside, sensing the elastic pulse of reality, and allowing the gentle bending of moments to calm and stretch your own perception. The sensation is neither disorienting nor frightening. It is meditative. Time here becomes tactile, like a soft fabric that bends under pressure but returns to its original shape when released. You feel your consciousness blending with this rhythm, your mind stretching to meet the universe's patient pulse. Minutes become hours, hours collapse into instants, yet there is serenity in this fluidity. The black hole does not hurry. It simply exists, shaping space-time and the flow of experience around it, demonstrating patience beyond comprehension. You imagine approaching closer, near the event horizon where time slows dramatically. Here, seconds seem infinite. You picture watching a distant galaxy. Its motion appears sluggish, almost frozen. Stars trace arcs that would normally be brief, now lingering in slow, deliberate paths. You feel the paradox of movement and stillness coexisting, and your mind absorbs the rhythm as a gentle lullaby, a reminder that the universe operates on scales far beyond ordinary perception. Every tick of a clock is a soft brush against the expanse of stretched spacetime. You consider how this affects your perception of causality. Events that seem sequential elsewhere blend together near the black hole. You imagine a gas cloud falling inward, photons emitted at different moments converging in strange synchrony. You feel your awareness expand, accommodating multiple layers of motion and light unfolding in overlapping sequences. The elasticity of time becomes a gentle teacher, showing that the universe is not always linear, and that there is beauty in understanding processes beyond immediate comprehension. Your own body seems to slow in response. Breaths lengthen, your heartbeat softens, and your mind settles into a pace dictated by space-time itself. You feel a quiet alignment with the universe, a meditative harmony with moments that expand, contract, and flow with gravity's patient guidance. The stretching of time is not oppressive. It is calming, a gentle reminder that awareness and existence can adapt to rhythms beyond ordinary measurement. You drift alongside the slow passage, feeling your thoughts float in tandem with the warp of seconds and minutes. You notice that even though time bends, motion persists. Stars orbit, gas flows, photons spiral, and gravity continues its quiet work. Each element moves in concert with the temporal distortions, creating a subtle, ongoing choreography. You sense the elegance in this balance. Motion exists, energy flows, and yet perception itself stretches and contracts. There is no tension, only an immersive rhythm, a continuous meditation on the elasticity and patience of the cosmos. Your mind floats with this rhythm, absorbing the serenity of time made tangible. You imagine a scenario where you could move freely near the event horizon. Your presence would be stretched in time relative to distant observers. Yet in your own frame, each moment feels natural. You picture sending a signal outward. It travels, but for those far away, centuries pass before it arrives, while you experience only an instant. You sense the relativity of experience, the multiplicity of perception. It is humbling and soothing, showing that the universe accommodates countless perspectives simultaneously, all guided by the patient laws of physics. There is also a quiet intimacy in the slowed moments. As time stretches, you notice details you would normally overlook. The faint flicker of light on a gas stream, the subtle curve of a star's orbit, the gentle interplay of energy and gravity. You feel your attention expand, embracing the richness of the moment without hurry. There is a meditative stillness in this observation, a soft immersion that allows the mind to rest while absorbing the depth and complexity of cosmic motion. And as you drift deeper, your awareness begins to sense the connection between time and memory. The stretching of moments allows events to linger, to be observed in layers, to resonate softly like echoes in a vast hall. You feel the black hole's presence not as a threat, but as a patient teacher, demonstrating that time is not a strict measure but a flexible canvas, shaping experience and perception in ways gentle and profound. You begin by imagining the space around LRG 3 to 757 not as empty, but as a repository of echoes. Stars that have wandered too close leave traces, streams of matter stretching outward, long after they are swallowed by the black hole. You sense these remnants as soft imprints, subtle currents that linger in the gravitational field, shaping the paths of gas and light. You drift among them weightless, following the faint signatures of events that occurred long before your awareness reached this point. There is calm in knowing that even in absence, presence persists, that memory can exist in motion, in energy, in space itself. The notion of cosmic memory is profound yet gentle. You imagine particles torn from stars, accelerated, and scattered across vast distances. Each carries information. The star's composition, its motion, the forces it encountered in its final moments. You picture tracing these currents with your mind, feeling the story of each star's life etched softly into the environment. Even after the star itself is gone, its influence continues, like whispers woven into a fabric that is both delicate and resilient. You breathe slowly, letting your awareness align with the quiet endurance of these remnants. Some matter forms streams and arcs, swirling in orbits shaped by gravity. You imagine tracing them, following their flow like a river of memory. Gas clouds ripple and fold, carrying the imprint of collisions, of stars shredded and transformed. You feel the continuity of motion, a subtle conversation between past and present. The black hole's immense gravity acts as a memory keeper, holding fragments in orbit, allowing them to persist, shaping future interactions. There is a meditative reassurance in this persistence, a rhythm that hums beneath the apparent emptiness. You notice that light too bears memory. Photons emitted during the star's final moments travel outward, carrying energy and information, encoding the events in their wavelength and direction. Some escape, reaching distant observers over millennia. Some spiral endlessly near the black hole, their journeys eternal. You imagine moving alongside these photons, sensing the events they encode, tracing echoes of cataclysm and transformation. There is no urgency. The information unfolds slowly, like pages turning in a book whose text stretches across light years. Time itself contributes to memory. Events that occurred millions of years ago are recorded in motions, in trajectories, in subtle distortions of space. You imagine these layers as a gentle palimpsest, each imprint soft but present, influencing motion without coercion. Even after stars vanish, their matter continues to shape the orbits of others, guiding gas streams, nudging clusters of stars, whispering imperceptibly to any observer patient enough to notice. You float among these layers, aware that memory and motion coexist seamlessly, offering a profound calm through the quiet endurance of cosmic history. You picture the black hole's influence as both eraser and archivist. Matter that falls beyond the event horizon is lost in one sense, yet outside, the traces remain. Disrupted orbits, subtle bends in light, streams of debris circling for millennia. The universe holds fragments of events in every orbiting particle, in every subtle oscillation, allowing history to persist in indirect, gentle ways. You sense that this balance is delicate. Creation, destruction, memory, and motion coexist, forming a slow, meditative rhythm that invites your mind to follow without haste. There is a softness in absence. You imagine a star torn apart, its core devoured, its outer layers stretched into long ribbons of gas. While the star no longer shines as it once did, its presence lingers in these fragments. You drift along the arcs of gas, feeling the story of its existence in each movement. Gravity guides them, weaving them into complex patterns, subtle reminders of what has passed. You sense that memory does not need visibility to be meaningful. The universe preserves what it touches, quietly and endlessly. Even black holes themselves hold memory. You imagine the distortions of spacetime, the curvature and ripple created by mass, encoding the past in geometry itself. Every particle, every photon that passes nearby carries traces of the black hole's influence. You feel your awareness stretching to encompass these patterns, sensing the intricate dialogue between presence and absence, between energy and void. It is a gentle, meditative awareness, one that encourages calm reflection and quiet curiosity about the endurance of cosmic history. You reflect on your own presence in this vast memory. You are fleeting, a momentary consciousness drifting through eons of motion, yet your awareness can perceive these echoes. You feel the resonance of past stars, the lingering pathways of devoured matter, and the soft hum of photons circling eternally. There is comfort in this connection, a meditative alignment with the endurance of motion and memory, a recognition that even fleeting observers can touch the stories written in the cosmos. And as you drift among these echoes, following streams of matter and light, you feel the quiet intertwining of motion and history. Every orbit, every swirl, every residual trace contributes to the ongoing dance of the universe, a gentle, unhurried reminder that memory persists in subtle, profound ways. You begin by imagining the black hole not as a threat, but as a presence so immense that it defies complete understanding. Its mass dwarfs entire galaxies, yet its form is simple, a singularity cloaked in the curvature of space. You drift near its periphery, aware of gravity's subtle pull, feeling its influence without fear. The vastness stretches your mind, encouraging reflection, inviting quiet curiosity, and reminding you that there is a gentle majesty in the unknown. You breathe slowly, in rhythm with the cosmic calm that surrounds you. Your awareness expands to include the scale of this mystery. You picture galaxies orbiting far beyond, clusters of stars moving in stately arcs, yet all influenced, however subtly, by this single immense presence. You sense how small individual events are, how fleeting your own life appears against the slow rhythm of cosmic time. And yet, there is no despair here, only wonder, a serene understanding that the universe is vast, patient, and immeasurably rich in both structure and surprise. Your mind relaxes, finding comfort in humility. The unknown is not empty. You notice the delicate interactions that reveal the black hole's presence. Streams of gas glow faintly, stars bend in orbits that hint at unseen mass, light itself warps as it passes nearby. You imagine tracing these clues, feeling the universe communicate in subtle, gentle ways. You sense a quiet intelligence, not in the sense of consciousness, but as an elegant orchestration of natural laws. Every effect, every interaction, every curve and ripple conveys information, revealing the majesty of systems that operate without haste or oversight. You consider your own presence in relation to this enormity. Floating here, You feel a quiet intimacy with forces that operate on incomprehensible scales. Time stretches and bends, matter flows and is devoured, energy pulses silently. Yet you feel connected, as if your mind can resonate with the patience and precision of these movements. There is a meditative harmony in this awareness, a recognition that the unknown is not threatening, but deeply instructive, a source of comfort when approached with gentle curiosity rather than fear. Your attention drifts to the black hole's boundaries. You picture the event horizon as a line of quiet inevitability. Not a wall, not a barrier, but a frontier where physics stretches to its limits. Light bends and warps near this threshold. Photons spiral in endless orbits, and time itself stretches. You feel the elegance of this boundary, the poetry in the way existence is framed, and the calm in knowing that not all must be understood to be appreciated. Mystery itself is a teacher, showing the depth and richness of phenomena that invite reflection rather than immediate answers. You imagine the black hole's influence on its surroundings. Gas streams swirl in long, elegant arcs, accelerated by gravity and friction, creating faint glows and pulses of energy. Stars trace orbits subtly altered by tidal forces, bending their paths gently over eons. You follow these motions with your mind, feeling the slow, deliberate rhythm, and sensing how immense presence can shape everything nearby without violent intrusion. There is patience in this motion, a slow, meditative unfolding that encourages your own awareness to settle and breathe with the cosmic tempo. You reflect on the poetry of scale. Here, time, mass, and space operate far beyond ordinary perception. Yet in this vastness, there is structure, clarity, and subtle rhythm. You feel the universe teaching through example. Magnitude and mystery coexist, and comprehension is not always necessary for appreciation. You relax into the paradox, allowing your mind to drift with gravity, light, and motion, finding a meditative calm in the interplay of known and unknown, observed and unseen. There is an elegance in impermanence. You picture streams of matter being slowly consumed, photons circling, stars eventually fading, yet each element contributes to the larger system. Even disappearance is meaningful. Absence becomes part of the fabric of existence. You sense the quiet patience in this process, a rhythm that spans millions of years, a reminder that time and change are gentle when observed from a mindful perspective. Your breathing slows further, attuning to the universe's serene cadence. You also notice subtle hints of what lies beyond the black hole. Gravitational waves ripple outward, faint but persistent, carrying information about distant mergers and cosmic events. Radiation from accreting gas pulses softly, signaling energy transformations that occur without drama. You imagine tuning your awareness to these messages, feeling the hum of existence that pervades all space. The unknown is not silent. It speaks in gentle vibrations, soft patterns, and faint pulses, revealing its majesty in ways that soothe rather than overwhelm. You sense a balance between fear and wonder. The black hole could consume worlds, yet it does so without malice. Its enormity is not threatening. It is instructive, a model of patient power. You feel yourself aligning with this perspective, accepting that some aspects of reality are vast beyond measure and unknowable, and yet they offer comfort, not anxiety. There is beauty in humility, in recognizing the limits of your mind while still participating in the rhythm of cosmic events. And as you drift near the edge of comprehension, you feel the quiet majesty settling in your awareness. You are not separate from this universe. Your presence, your mind, your breath resonate with its slow, deliberate tempo. Mystery and understanding coexist, weaving together a gentle calm that encourages rest. The unknown is no longer something to fear, but a partner in meditation, an invitation to breathe, observe, and feel your place in the immense, patient cosmos. You begin by letting your awareness expand, filling with the gentle echo of LRG 3-757's presence. The story of its mass, motion, and influence settles softly in your mind, like dust floating in the slow sunlight of a distant galaxy. You feel the rhythm of matter and energy flowing around this hidden giant, not as something distant or abstract, but as a pulse you can sense, as if the universe itself is breathing alongside you. Your own breath deepens, naturally matching the slow cadence of this cosmic heartbeat. You imagine the vast clouds of gas that swirl in delicate arcs, accelerated by gravity and friction, glowing faintly in colors too soft for your eyes, but vivid in your imagination. Stars orbit patiently, tracing slow, deliberate paths, each one contributing to the subtle harmony of motion. Even photons, spiraling in unseen patterns, add a quiet vibration to this meditation. You feel the interconnectedness of all things, a network of motion, energy, and space that extends far beyond comprehension. Yet here, in this awareness, it feels intimate, approachable, and calming. Your mind drifts further, following the slow paths of matter shaped by gravity's gentle guidance. You imagine particles long ago torn from devoured stars, tracing invisible trails, each carrying a whisper of history. You sense that every movement, every photon, every ripple in spacetime contributes to the greater flow, a cosmic rhythm that is at once immense and gentle. You feel your awareness merging with this pulse, floating along with energy, time, and mass, carried effortlessly by the soft, unhurried dance of the universe. Time itself feels fluid here, stretching and compressing as it wraps around the black hole. Minutes lengthen into hours, hours compress into instants, yet your mind follows the rhythm without strain. There is no rush, no expectation, only the gentle, meditative cadence of existence. You sense the patience of the cosmos, its deliberate unfolding, and you allow your own perception to stretch in harmony. Every moment becomes rich with awareness, every breath a mirror of the expansive, flowing tempo that governs stars, gas, and black holes alike. You reflect on the traces of memory left behind by devoured stars. Streams of matter linger in orbit, photons carry whispers of past events, and subtle distortions in spacetime encode the history of countless encounters. You imagine touching these echoes gently with your mind, feeling the quiet persistence of cosmic memory. Even in absence, there is presence. Even in darkness, there is meaning. You rest in this awareness, recognizing that continuity and change coexist in perfect balance, offering both wonder and solace. You feel the enormity of the black hole without fear. Its mass dwarfs galaxies, yet you sense a patient intelligence in its presence. Not conscious, not purposeful, but elegantly precise. Every orbit, every pulse of energy, every subtle shift in spacetime demonstrates order without urgency. You imagine your own thoughts aligning with this rhythm, your mind attuning to the slow, deliberate flow of cosmic events. There is calm in knowing that vastness is not overwhelming. It is meditative, a space in which you can find your own equilibrium. Light surrounds you, both escaping and trapped, weaving invisible patterns that define the black hole's domain. You imagine photons circling endlessly, tracing orbits shaped by gravity, carrying energy and information, creating a subtle, silent symphony. You drift alongside them, feeling the elegance of motion, the poetry of persistence. Even what cannot be seen contributes to the universe's rhythm. Your mind absorbs this, sensing that mystery and clarity exist simultaneously, and that observation is not always necessary to feel the depth and beauty of existence. You notice the soft pulse of gravitational waves, vibrations traveling outward from distant cosmic events. You imagine them brushing past gently, nudging your awareness, merging with the other rhythms of matter and energy. You sense the vast orchestration of the cosmos, layers upon layers of motion and interaction, all coexisting in harmony. You let the vibrations carry you further into calm, each ripple a gentle reminder of the patient, unhurried flow of space and time. Your attention turns inward. You feel your heartbeat, slow and steady, matching the cadence of the universe. Each inhalation and exhalation mirrors the gentle flow of matter, light, and gravity around you. You are part of this rhythm, connected to something immense yet approachable. There is a meditative comfort in the alignment, a sense of being carried gently by forces far beyond your understanding, yet intimately reflected in your own body. You sink into this resonance, feeling weightless, serene, and safe. The unknown remains vast, yet it is no longer daunting. Mystery and comprehension coexist in quiet elegance, teaching you patience and acceptance. You imagine the black hole as a teacher, demonstrating through presence rather than words, guiding you toward reflection rather than certainty. You feel gratitude for this slow journey, for the gentle exposure to scales of mass, energy, and time that reshape your awareness. You allow the lessons of patience, persistence, and balance to settle in your mind, softening tension and inviting serenity. And as your awareness drifts, carried on the soft waves of gravity and light, your mind begins to release the need for focus. You feel yourself merging with the pulse of the cosmos, letting the vastness carry you into calm, gentle orbit. Sleep approaches like a quiet tide, drawing you closer to rest, and your consciousness floats with ease, following the rhythm of a universe both immense and intimately serene.